This is Warriors Anonymous.
Well and wave, boys. Welcome to Warriors Anonymous. There we go. Yee, bye week. Welcome along, everyone. We survived bye week. Good Lord, it's been tough going without any Warriors to watch, but a lot of things going on as well. So I think we've got some good stuff to cover tonight. And amongst all of the negativity and what we did to keep ourselves occupied in the week off. My name is Jerry Cronin. Let's bring in the lads. First of all, let's go with the man who's taking a bit of industrial action. That is Daniel Wharakura. He's taped over the NRL logo. Bro, how are you?
All good, yeah. All good, Fano. Good to be here. Hey, just to clarify, when you say bye week, you just mean there's no games for us.
Seen a few of these jokes rolling around online from certain Warriors groups about the definition of bye week, but yes, as far as I know, that's what it is. Anyways, keen to get your thoughts in a second as well, bro, about the industrial action between the Players Association v the NRL, because there's a lot of info been thrown around, and I feel like you've got possibly the most balanced and well thought out analysis of it all. So keen to chat to you. Also, Monitor Sauce, keen to chat to you nice and close to that microphone, bro. How are you?
I don't know. I'm always going to lick it, hey? No, I won't lick it.
Make love to the microphone.
No, I'm good. No. Yeah, just put the kids to sleep. It's great.
Yeah, everyone behaving?
Yeah. And go the Knights. Good to see them beat the Raiders. No, was it the Raiders?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, so I wonder what Ricky's excuse was now. But yeah.
Yeah. Could blame it on the ref from last week somehow.
Also,
the Sostradamus. Isaac, how are you, bro?
The Sostradamus.
Good. Nothing to protect. So,
Yeah.
Leave it for next week's game. Make some predictions later on in the piece.
Yes, looking forward to that. Ooh, have you got something in mind?
Nope. I'll just let it float into my brain after some meditating.
That's how it works, right? You just kind of bang.
So you called
marinate.
Pompey to have an outstanding game, but didn't necessarily have an outstanding game. But whatever he did, it contributed him to being re-signed again. So we'll give you that.
Yeah. He got re-signed. And
Are you going to do the special effects today, though, when we do the Sostradamus?
Oh, the smoke.
yeah, I'll get Masaki to just jump on the vape and blow some across the screen.
Yes. Oh, damn. I haven't got the music ready for it. Damn.
Vape responsibly, people. Vape responsibly.
R18. No vapes, kids. But yeah, Pomp's getting a contract. Yay. Lots of talk on the Warriors web pages about that one. So.
Yeah, I guess that's a good. Let's do a just an off the cuff hard or nah, because he is a lightning rod, Mr. Pompey. There are people who love him and people who maybe don't love him so much. So what are we thinking? We've gone to the end of this year and then 2 more years from there. Was that right? Till the end of 2025?
25, yep.
So, Moneta, bro, what are your what's your thoughts on A, the re-signing, and B, how it kind of fits with the guys who are coming in next year as well?
Well, I think it's a great signing. I think he's shown his worth this year, I mean, he's played every single game, and we spoke about it last week. I thought he covered it up for Montoya's. I thought Montoya didn't have a great game, but I thought, Pompey covered some of a lot of the areas and the tackles and so forth. So, and he's dependable. I actually think he's quite elusive on his feet. And he's only going to get better and better. And Webster obviously sees something in him and more potential. And that's why they signed him for the next 2 years. So, in Weber we trust, or Weber Mania, or however you want to call it. But I think it's great. But it should be interesting once we have RTS back next year, because we know he's a quality player, and Webster mentioned competition kind of keeps everybody in on their toes, and so it can only be good for the Warriors. So now we've got RTS, who's even who's a top caliber player, will kind of bring the level up even further, I guess, within the centre ranks. So yeah, I think it's good, more depth, which it's been proven well for us this year and can only get better.
And one thing that's probably a bit underrated in terms of how Pompey fits with the season, they say the old adage that, durability is the best ability. And he's been there for every game. Rain, hail or shine, I think he's been both sides, centre both sides. He's just been turning up. And, at times he's sort of had up and down games, but he's been there. Isaac, what are your thoughts on re-signing the POMP?
POMP.
I don't know what you heard about me.
Don't get $1 out of me.
I've lost my train of thought now because of that fucker. I was fine with it. I was fine. I mean, Bailey was let go to the Cowboys, and fair play to him. Get some game time somewhere if he can. I think, was it Peter Hickle's going to Super League, so he'll maybe take his spot, which is cool. Another Warrior in the Cowboys ranks. But Pompey's done, he hasn't done too many amazing things this season, like, highlight reel stuff, but he hasn't made too many mistakes either. I think, it's just the negative carryover from the past 2 years, as we would know, with the past 2 years of our podcast. But, in Webster we trust. I keep seeing all around the traps, and I tend to agree with it. He's got a plan. He obviously sees something he likes in him, and he apparently Webster's just amazing at backing his players. So if he's backing Pompey, I'm all on board. And I think, Pompey's got room for improvement, and Webster's probably the right guy to get that improvement out of him. So, depth. Long season, Dan's talked about before. You've got to have a deep squad, and Pomps just adds to that. POMP.
The POMP. There's something in there. He's actually been part of one of my favourite highlights of the whole season, and that was the one against the Cowboys where he set up the try for Kossi, but in the motion of it, he had his jersey pulled up over his head like a nun almost, passing the ball off. So that was one for the highlight reels. But I like that he can cover a lot of spots, right? He's played a lot of wing, he's played a lot of centre, both sides. So having a guy like that can cover at least 4 spots, possibly even fullback as well at a stretch, that's got to be good for for a long season ahead in 2024 and 25 as well.
Yeah, agreed. I think there was some chat about we only have 3 specialist wingers in our 30. You need players that can cover multiple positions. Moneta touched on it. He's played every game this year. You mentioned durability is the best ability. And look, I just think it came down to the right price. They've offered the right price, and he's decided to stay for that. Potential Pomp maybe would have got a little bit more elsewhere. I know the Knights were sniffing around. But, I think the Warriors would have put the right deal in front of him, and would have been not a take it or leave it, but they would have gone, we can't go any further for a player, a player of his capability, which is still a strong capability, but, it wouldn't have gone over us. And we're in that position now, I think, where we can actually start to, for some of those mid-tier players we've got, we if we can't fit them in there, then they'll have to go. Yeah. Because we actually have money, obviously a little bit of money, I think, tied up in some of our key positions as well. So, we're quite hamstrung. So, I think it's good business.
The unofficial Warriors salary cap auditor there. Thank you, Daniel. It's interesting, isn't it? We always joked about, getting a pair of jeans for tracksuit pant kind of money. And I kind of feel like maybe Pompey's kind of like, maybe we're going to pay him like tracksuit pants that maybe have an extra couple of pockets on them or something like that.
It might be like those kind of jeans, but they're like legging, jegging type scenarios. They're not real jeans, but they're kind of like, they're kind of halfway half.
Is he like
jeans?
Is he like Chuck Norris Kung Fu jeans?
Those kind of jeans with the elastic thing. They're kind of like slouchy pants. You can kind of wear them out formally at a push.
Depending on if you haven't neglected leg day, I mean, you don't want to go with those underprepared, do you?
Yeah, at least do some calf raises or something like that before you put those things on.
know.
It's
Mouse going on.
men's yoga pants or something like that.
No, just like those kind of the jean, but they're quite tight fitting jeans.
Oh.
But
They're like
kind of
like skinny jeans, but like vacuum seal ones.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, jeggings.
You're gonna stick the vacuum in there and
Woo!
Yeah,
There's nothing like the caress of some jeggings.
yeah. And if you've got a lot of booty, it's all out there.
That's right. Ready for the world. Okay.
sounds like some product placement. Are we going to sell some official Warriors jeggings out with a picture of the Warriors logo on the booty?
And we'll call it is it up, what are you going to call it? Up the ass? Is it up
Oh, wow.
it's up the ass?
There's money to be
yeah.
made here, people.
My word, we had some pretty good ideas here already, fellas. Now during the week there was some really good interviews. I thought there was some bloody awesome content. Considering it was bye week, I guess, you know, everyone gets a little bored and it's like, all right, let's go and talk to some people. Not that we've got anyone on this week, but we had obviously our boys from Ruin Hammer who chatted to us last week. They had D Buns, Dylan Walker, great interview. Really just such an open sort of character, man. He doesn't shy away from any question. He just lays it all out there, and I was like, wow, this is fantastic. So really, I thought that was a really awesome setup. Also, Zane, the Warrior Holic, he got in touch with the postman, Ed Cossey. Good interview, especially on, you know, checking in with how he's, you know, Ed's been able to bounce back from that game last year and really, you know, he's come on leaps and bounds. Also, a guy who's coming back to the team next year, you might have heard of him. His name's Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, and he was on the morning shift this week. And man, buddy, he had a great interview as well. I know you caught a bit of that, Buddha. What did you detect in that musing?
Oh, it was great. There was talk that RTS doesn't do a lot of that stuff, so it was awesome to have him on. And obviously the first time he'd spoken properly since the deal and since the kind of media press conferences he's had to do. But it was awesome. It highlighted probably that a couple of things for me. First of all, the previous stint, and we laughed about it. I've been crying about it actually, because all those years of supporting the Warriors, and he made comments of just the professionalism and the level of detail they went into or didn't go into back then as well. So it was, a bit of an eye opener just to show that. But obviously we changed our approach now, and then probably just the fact that he's got unfinished business, and the switch to rugby obviously hasn't worked out. And I guess the key thing without him, it's not him being arrogant or anything, but there's a desire to be the man, to put the team on his back, and like he used to, right? He used to put the team on his back and single-handedly either win us a game or at least make it look respectable. And he wants to get there, and he wants to be amongst this group that is doing so well. So yeah, it was awesome to hear, man, because I think where we are as a team, we talk about we're a really good team at the moment. We probably lack just a couple of extra pieces of X factor, and Roger's the X factor, and he can bring that.
I like that you can tell he is hungry. He's such a humble guy, but bro, he is ready to just turn it on again. And what I really like is that he's going to come back into an environment where he doesn't have to be the team like he used to. Like, he doesn't have to be head and shoulders above everyone else and just, drag everyone with him because the team's going well. He can just go out there, and it's kind of scary to think what he could do, with a bit of support around him.
Could you just imagine that his ability where he was maybe, in the last, if you combine the last 3 years he played for us and as one kind of year, you could put him into the team currently. Far out.
Yeah.
That'd be excellent, that would just be just the extra added kind of X factor that we need.
Yeah. Another thing that I find interesting about Roger as well, Isaac, is that he's another guy, right? He can cover. I think if he gets put into the center spot and proves himself there, all of a sudden you've got a guy who can play any position in the back five and probably play it to a high level. That can only help us next year as well. What do you reckon, bro?
Oh, of course. I think Webby's going to be pretty smart about the way he uses RTS. I don't see him predominantly just as a center. I think he'll probably roam around, maybe these mid players like Jazz Tavanga or Dylan Walker and just sort of sniff around. I can see him and Chance just basically playing almost like two fullback type roles, the support roles, in and around the middle of the ruck. I think Webby's got some big plans for May, and he's got a good mind for offense. I mean, we called at the start of the season where we thought Tohu would play the Isaiah Yo role. It's exactly what happened. I can't see Webby just parking him in a center spot and saying, you just stay in your lane here. He's going to be like, well, I've got quite an attacking weapon here. How am I going to use them? So, yeah, it's going to be exciting to see how he fits in and what he brings. But, yeah, X Factor. I think Warriors could probably use maybe another X Factor player in the forwards. But I think the backs are probably pretty well covered now.
Yeah. What I like about Roger is that X Factor where if we go wide, say on attack, he's got the ability when it all kind of just, when there's nothing on, like he could just cut and field and just boom, 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 try and just carve up. Like all of a sudden we don't necessarily need a proper shape to, be scoring because all of a sudden he can just flip the whole thing on its head and do whatever he likes. Which is, that's bloody exciting. Moneta, the Buddha just mentioned earlier about how Roger, when he came from the Roosters to the Warriors the first time around, and he'd been basically used to a level of, in-depth kind of professionalism at the Chooks. And when he got to the Warriors, it just wasn't quite to that extent. They weren't doing extras, video analysis, and all that sort of stuff. Does a lot of those seasons suddenly make sense to you as it does to me?
Yeah, I mean, like you only have to look at how what Webster's done in regards to the team, and and like to Daniel's point, RTS obviously was carrying a lot on his back, and and taking a lot from what he learned from the Roosters and trying to apply it, but if you don't have that team culture really buying into it, then it's just, he was doing it basically on his back. But I think he'll really enjoy what's happening now, and that's probably part of the attraction to why he's coming back, because he's seen that real opportunity that he missed out last time, his first stint round, and now he's going to get that expectation, I guess, he had first time when was hoping to get when he left the Roosters. So, and I think he'll really shine in that regard. And and it's good to see now. We're seeing how the Warriors are playing now, and it's a sustainable way of playing. I think you only have to look at the Penrith Panthers. That you can see that's the way Penrith Panthers play, and you look at the Storm, you can kind of see that's how they're playing, and you're starting to see the way that the Warriors are playing. And I think RTS is like looking forward to that, and it's something that could be sustainable. It's not the Warriors like razzle dazzle that used to be, like off the cuff and stuff like that. But it's like, it's I call it sustainable. Like it's easy. It's actually what Galen said. It's not boring, but it's simple. It's like just running it up. Being smart with the first three players and then utilising the back play on the last two and just being way more smarter about it. So, he'll enjoy it.
I can see you trying to avoid the boring word there.
Yeah. it's repeatable. Yeah. It's mechanical and it's repeatable. It's the Glenn McGrath bowling action.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, no. But, he'll love it, I reckon. He'll enjoy it.
You know what's coming at you, but try stopping it. That's a different story. One of the big storylines that's going on at the moment is the big battle, the big game between the NRL and the RLPA. basically the Players Association upping the ante, as you can see Buddha there with the blanked out NRL logo, just to illustrate. What have you got written on that as well, Buddha? For those blank ones.
Record some podcasts.
Nice.
Just in case I don't want to fold some clothes today.
Now, there's been so much information flying around about who's doing what, who's in the wrong, blah, 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 all of this going on. And I actually thought your summation of the state of play was really, I thought fair, balanced. Bro, tell us what you are seeing in this current standoff between Abdo and Newton.
Abdo v Newton. For the R to the L to the B to the I don't know. I've just said everyone's heard a few bits and pieces, but it seems to be very, especially media-led, very harsh on RLPA and very harsh towards Clint Newton. I guess talking about him wanting to take all the power and, blocking all the negotiations. But I just heard some stuff where what they're just really asking for is a little bit more consultation around expansion. So there's a likelihood to be, when the next team comes in, another 3 games added to the schedule. So that's a lot of football, and we've talked about that just before. It's a long season as it is already, and it's a lot of football. So at least it's consultation how that works. Not blocking it, but they want a seat at the table to discuss that. And also, I believe there's some requirements they want for post-career players' career around medical support. So I'm not 100% sure, but I believe there's a short period of time post-game that there's a lot of medical support, and then after that it kind of dies away a bit. So I guess we know that the players put their bodies on the line week in, week out for our entertainment, right? For the broadcasters, for the fans, for the fans. After there's those. Well, they reckon the most this career span of an average NRL player is about 48 games. Wow. So that could be about 2 seasons. I guess they obviously play different levels as well, but once they're out of that, they need all the support they can get. If the game can support them, just to kind of get their life back together as well, because it does come with a lot of risk. It's a high risk game, So that's all I've heard, and I think Ben Tell was on Triple M over the weekend as well, and he actually sort of summed it up quite well, towards the hatred towards Clint Newton. It's like, well, he's doing this on behalf of the players. The RLPA collective to support the players. So yeah, who knows? Old mate Volandis is involved now, So there was one little piece which I think it does relate to some money from back in COVID days as well, which they took some pay cuts for that, and I don't think that's necessarily been paid out properly, or the agreement has. But I don't know whether they'd get that anymore, because they've had a massive bump up as well. So that's the other thing. So they are getting more money, which is great. But yeah, I just think it's the working conditions, as Isaac summed it up. We don't just come into the office to then get spear tackled and a head knock, when we arrive to work. Right. And these guys, put their body through hell.
I mean, that's a good point. Imagine that, Isaac. You go to work, you walk into the office on Monday morning, and bloody Stephen from accounts comes along and just bloody spear tackles you right into the ground, and all of a sudden you're off HIA, you got a bung neck or whatever. How can you work under those conditions?
It's like going to ask the boss for a pay rise. I go see Stephen HR. I'll drive a tackle. No raise.
Is that Steve Burgess in accounts?
Steve Burgess in accounts. Yeah,
you'd bump him off, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, he's just a skin and bone, that guy. But no, Steve. But I mean, I see arguments. Oh, in my job, if I was to blah blah blah. It's like, well, it's not your job. Like, this is their job. Their job is to get smacked around by 120 kg blokes. It's not your job, So you can't compare. It's not apples and apples. Like, they need to be taken care of. And, even if it was a normal job, people expect decent working conditions, decent standards. If you're not getting taken care of at work, you go find somewhere else to work, you know. But unfortunately, you know, I'd say the options are pretty limited when you're playing league, right? You're either in the NRL or you're in the Super League, and that's quite a significant change.
Yeah, for sure.
Working conditions, they deserve, you know, working conditions that, you know, that are reasonable for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Moneta, I guess there are a lot of challenges as well. Even if you've had a long, illustrious career, there's always a challenge when you go from being a first-grade NRL player to the retired life. And that could be anything between mental health issues, physical health issues, even just just trying to adjust to, not having the roar of the crowd every time you step into the office. I mean, how can the NRL improve things for those guys as they move into a new phase of their life?
I think they've got some things they do in regards to educational programs, in regards to kind of like, what's life after football. I know the Warriors do something like that. Like they try to make sure that, it's not just football as their primary, source of income, but like getting them ready for the future. We've seen a few good players like Steve Price and all that stuff. They've been supported through that avenue in regards to getting their degrees, and he ended up owning a forward square or whatever, but now he's doing all right. But yeah, I think it's really important, right? So just try to let them know that, there's life after football. It's only a very short career for most, and max, most of them might play out to, some of them might play out to their mid-30s, but those are the very, high caliber players, like the Shaun Johnsons and stuff like that, hopefully. But yeah, it's a tough one, and it happens with a lot of professions and in regards to sport, like NFL, and looking, I think of the wrestlers too, they're kind of like it's all they know, and what happens after that, so it's just trying to make sure they have another avenue in regards to that. So kind of maybe supporting them in terms of they want to go to school and get some kind of form of education. It could be a tradesman, it could be any kind of, kind of chasing their dreams after football and helping them to get down that avenue. So yeah.
Even those American Gladiators.
Have you seen that documentary? Yes. So good.
Far out. That can be pretty harrowing, after retirement, after the glory days where they get paid bloody $25,000 a season or whatever.
Yeah.
To get their brains bashed out. And
that's
pump
crazy.
steroids into them like every day.
Well, that's exactly it, eh? Like, it's a bit of a smokescreen. You get this opportunity, someone says to you, hey, you're going to play in the NRL, and you do anything to do it. But unfortunately, you'd sell your soul to play in the NRL, and then you sell your soul and you don't get it back. That's kind of what it feels like, The
worst I've seen is in the UFC. You get these people on UFC contracts. Their training could cost more than how much they would get in terms of their winnings. Like one of their fighters, you turn up attendance, I heard, was like 7,000, and then win bonus is 7,000, but their training camp could be 20,000, and so there's a big dispute in that realm already in regards to fighters getting their kind of fair share, and I guess that's kind of happening now across many things. Like you think about the nurses too; they're going on strike, and they totally deserve it within the society that we live in. And then there's so many things happening within our society now which deserve better conditions, better pay. So it's a basic human right. So we deserve those working conditions, and also the imbalance of society weighs more on certain things than it does others. So I think society is making a stand for certain things. So this is one of it, right? So yeah.
I'm just going to slightly paraphrase what you said before, Isaac, that you sell your soul to play in the NRL. I'm going to say, to play in the NRL, you sell your shoulders.
I don't mean sell your soul as in you give it all, but you give everything you have to play this game. And when you get an opportunity, they might go, oh, I don't know what the numbers they'll throw out. Oh, you chuck you 80K. You'd be like, fuck, yeah, I'll take it. 80K, I'm in the NRL, that's great. And then you work your way up to the top.
100K minimum, yeah.
Yeah, 100K minimum. But, you give so much to get to that point, and you got to think of all these players that have worked their asses off, and they might get 1-2 NRL games in their career. And they've given just as much as the people that have played the game up until 300 odd games. They've given it every week, day in, day out, to get to where they are. They deserve to be able to walk away from the game with something to show for it, or at least be taken care of if they get Alex McKinnon and get speared into the ground and put into a wheelchair. They gave that for the game,
Yep. And it comes with a lot as well in terms of, like, it's not just the job, say. Like, for me, you can go and bust your ass at your job. But then on the weekends, you can go to the pub, act like an idiot, eat McDonald's. Everything's fine, These guys, suddenly they're on the news or getting pulled up because they're not eating the right things, blah blah blah. But it's a slippery slope for a lot of these fellas in the game, and a lot that the extra stuff that comes with it, even social media kind of vitriol as well.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a double-edged sword because they get catapulted into the limelight, and there's a lot of opportunity off the back of that too. They could be lauded as some of the greatest players ever to play the game, and your career post football can be well sought out and looked after as well, and they get paid reasonably well too. But that's always been it's the double-edged sword, right? On that one hand, the fame, the financial reward, the reward for performance and all the good stuff. But on the other side, you lose your privacy, and you can't just be a 20-year-old kind of kid goofing around, because you can get caught up and get in a lot of trouble as well. So yeah, it's not easy either way, and that's why I think you just come back to it. That's why they just need to have some further protections around them as players that look after them as well. And the quicker the league in RL think about that, the better, because they are the product of the game, right? Everyone's a joint stakeholder, but they are pretty key.
Yeah. I do have a personal opinion. I just think we probably need new mediators. So I would get Abdo, V'landys. You need an independent view in regards to how this is going, because I think it's been happening for 20 months. And so, yeah, I heard it's not working. So maybe Newton and Abdo and V'landys maybe need to get some new fresh eyes into it, and because I've heard those two have just been butting heads, and that doesn't work for anybody. So we kind of need just two independent people with clear eyes and with the objective to move forward without any kind of personal attacks, because that's what's been happening, and it's not good. More so from the NRL. Yeah.
Didn't the Mad Butcher one time feature as a mediator on Neighbours at War? I'm pretty sure there was an episode.
Wasn't he the mediator between you regarding the shirt?
Why the shirt, Jared?
He was the dominator. He shut me down.
The song's a bit long, Jared.
Yeah, that's right.
Sounds
I love it. It's a bit long.
I love the feedback from the Butch. Yeah, maybe he could be a goer, because also, how good was that Neighbours at War show? Holy shit. That was some of the best TV I think I've ever seen in my life.
Neighbours at War.
So good.
Yeah. Such a good show.
But can I just elaborate on Dan's point about, and your point as well, G, like these guys, these players, they're 365 days a year, they're NRL players, and they're always on watch. And perfect example is Reece Walsh. Like, people forgot last year that he was a 21-year-old kid when he had the mistake with the coke, going through a breakup with his baby mama and stuff like that. Like, all that shit, people have a hard enough time dealing with that sort of thing without being an NRL player, when you're just a normal run-off-the-mill Joe Bloggs. Those sorts of things happen in your life. Life gets pretty tough. Now put a spotlight on you and a few hundred cameras on you day in, day out, on a 20-year-old kid, and see how that feels. And was he really protected by the NRL in those sorts of situations? I don't know. But, and again, another one I hate to think of is Manu. Like, Manuvatavai, he's a club legend, and after the game, it seemed like he had it all figured out, but, literally he didn't. This is what can happen to an NRL player. These are the outcomes if, there's just not that extra level of care for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pitfalls.
The pitfalls of success. Yeah, in the NRL. Yeah.
But if they're going to have 3 extra rounds, is that just going to be the same time frame but just get rid of all the buys? Is that the thinking?
Oh, I don't know. I still have buys because I think it'd be pretty hard to have. What do they play? We play 24 games. So they end up playing 27 games, won't they? Unless they have additional buy rounds.
Because then you'd start
I'm not too sure.
earlier or later in the year, and it's starting to get late October finish or an early. Oh, actually, we're already starting early March, aren't we?
Well, maybe they won't need to have the weekly buy because they won't have to have a weekly buy.
True.
For mandatory. So they might just have more reduced buy rounds when you go through Origin as well, perhaps. But I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, getting the 17th in is great for the game, but for the broadcast didn't solve the right of having an extra game a week as well. I mean, if they get 18 teams in, it's going to be pretty hectic, which is going to be awesome. But then there's a whole new range of things they're talking about, like conference football as well.
Oh wow!
Because they also want to keep like the rivalries between the Sydney teams, heat them up. So there's a home and away version of that, and then you'd have a random group like us, obviously over here, fitting
Queensland
into the Storms and Queensland. Just part of Queensland. But yeah, I mean, heaps to happen. But you think about Super Rugby shit, but I don't mean like think about Super Rugby. But for the international game, they manage the minutes at the club level as well. So you might have to walk down that pathway because 27 NRL games,
and then where would that leave internationals? I mean. It's already hard enough to get anything in there as it is, and then expanding it more. It's a whole other.
I would really love to see State of Origin be played, maybe away from in the middle of the season, an NRL break, which they wouldn't do because of the broadcasting. And while State of Origin is playing, you're playing internationals that don't involve Australia. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. And lots of people have been saying the same thing too. Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Now, I actually got to do a couple of shout-outs this week. First of all, to the Prestige himself, Wade Egan, during bye week. He went and lent a hand at the Pass It On Clothing. So it's an organisation that provide clothing in connection to those experiencing homelessness. So he was out there. There was photos online about him, getting out and helping the cause and the early morning activities and that. So, man, just an awesome guy, Wade. Love to get him on the show sometime and chat about it, amongst other things with his magic tricks. But really cool to see Wade getting in amongst it with the Warriors community work. They do a lot of good stuff too, that community foundation. So that's cool. Also, I've got a shout out to someone who I can't remember the exact username, but I'm pretty sure it said Tony Soprano. And they commented on our podcast last week that we posted up on YouTube because we had posted it up, uploaded it, but there was a section in there, or a couple of sections where Mark, Hammer's audio just dropped out. So we'd kind of ask a question and he'd be answering it, but there'd just be no video or audio, and we're just
we were just in this.
So I missed it. Producer Matt missed it. So to see the comment on there from I think it's Tony Soprano. Whoever you are, if you're watching again, thank you, bro, because man, you saved us. Went through and reworked it and just sort of tweaked it so everyone was there, which was nice. Just got to say a massive thank you to that feedback, because sometimes things just slip through the cracks, shall we say. Now, fellas, Warriors had the week off. So, normally we review our sort of match, but this is going to be a pretty short one because we ain't got much to review. Now, I made a couple of notes. On the good side of things, no injuries or suspensions, hopefully. That can still happen, technically, but seemingly we've got through it all right. The team's had rest to get things right and just make a few tweaks here and there, get healthy. Cool. On the bad side of things, just boredom. Like, we're stuck looking for things to do and fill in the void of our weekend. So that's my kind of summation of bye week. Has anyone got anything else to add to that?
Nope.
Oh, I would say one more thing to that. Us fans get a chance to freshen up, right? We get a little freshen up before we get into the home stretch and set sail for a top 4 finish. Obviously, that's well in the cards. And actually, I think most Warriors fans will be disappointed if they don't finish in the top 4 based on the run home. So, yeah, it's probably a nice time because I think we've been not redlining, but we've been up. Last couple of games, and I guess to come off the back of the Raiders game, we should have lost, but we won.
There is one point I wanted to bring up though about Wade Egan and this whole pass it on initiative. I mean, that's amazing that he did that, but the way he's been playing. Did he pretend to pass it close to someone and then just throw the dummy and then just run away if someone's close? Just because he's got that on a string at the moment, just the and then goes through the line.
Mate, he was so good, he just ran past the homeless guy and then all of a sudden there was something in his hands. He was like, where did this come from?
He was already wearing the clothes.
yeah. When it's just like,
I love you, Wade.
I love you, Wade.
Love you, Wade, man.
We do too. Oh, man.
And that's the bye week.
That is the bye week. Also, just a bit of a footnote before we get into the rundown on the next 5 games. A really, really good weekend and great bye week for the Warriors New South Wales Cup team because often on your week off things can go a bit astray. But for these guys, the results have fallen into their lap. They got the 2 points from the bye. All of a sudden, they've gone from 4th and they're now up to 2nd. So a great weekend for them. Yeehaw. They've got a huge game coming up at Penrith this coming Saturday. So that's also on New South Wales Rugby League TV, I believe. I don't think it'll be me calling it because they haven't called me. But that could be a really important game because Penrith are coming along pretty strongly in the run into the finals. So if we could win that, then it's getting kind of hectic in the New South Wales Cup as well as of course in the NRL where we are sitting 3rd. 5 games to go, let's have a look. Buddha and myself we've gone through and done the old ladder predictor. So I'll release those results after we just run through a few sort of predictions. And we'll go with the Sauce Boys on this because, me and Buddha will release our results afterwards. But we'll start with you, Moneta. We've got the game coming up next Friday against the Titans. You think we can win that one? Do you think we will win that one?
I think we will, but it won't be easy, especially after they just beat the Cowboys. I always thought the 2 toughest teams in our run-up would be the Titans and the Eagles.
Yep.
In regards to, yes, it's an easier run, but then there's almost higher expectations that we get this done, and that itself can put a bit of pressure. And we've seen the pressure that get to them when they've been playing at home. But hopefully they're better now, obviously. But Titans put up a show. They beat the Cowboys. We should win, but I don't think it will be as easy as everyone else thinks. And they're a capable
team.
A tight competition.
Yeah, very capable team. So after the Titans, we'll play the Tigers in Hamilton.
Oh, we should win that. If we don't win that, I'm going to jump off the cliff. But yeah.
That's extreme.
Oh, yeah, you heard it here.
I really hope we win that one. And then the game after that, Sea Eagles at Mount Smart. It's kind of got banana skin sort of written on it.
Yeah,
That sort of,
I still remember 3 years ago, we should have beaten the Seagulls, and then the Seagulls beat us, and then they had the run of the season. So we always seem to be able to kickstart the Seagulls season.
Do you know what kickstarted that game? That changed the game and the momentum of that game?
I just remember Montoya
Dylan Walker's buns. That clenched tear, and Roger putting it back. And next thing you know, they kicked a wounded duck of a field goal to beat us, didn't they?
right.
Yeah.
Fucking Jerry Evans.
Heart cross buns.
It's all coming back. It's all coming back to me now.
We should win that. Yeah, we should win that.
We should win that.
Should.
Okay. So you got us 3 out of 3. Then we at home again against the Dragons. You picking us on that one?
We should. I say we should. So we win it. We'll win it.
We will?
Yeah, we'll win it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the last game away in Brisbane against the Dolph Lundgrens.
Don't like me.
I must break you.
Will they break us?
I'm a universal soldier now.
You're dead, soldier. No, I'm alive.
I just want to. Again, yeah, we should win it.
Okay.
We win it. But I guess the 2 games I'm nervous about are the Titans and the Eagles.
So you're predicting that we're going to run the table, we're going to win our next 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
We should win them all 5.
Okay.
We should.
Sostradamus. See into your...
Into my beanie.
Your ball or whatever you got. Whatever you use, right? Your vaping crystal.
The Cambodian Professor X. No, make me go no. I'm going to go, we'll beat the Titans, but I don't like the Titans because they beat the Cowboys, and I thought the Cowboys were on a bit of a hot streak, so the Titans will have some confidence from that, and I don't like it. But we should beat them. And then was it Manly next day? No, Tigers after that?
Tigers.
Yeah, we'll steamroll the Tigers because they just look horrible. Manly, that's the biggest banana skin game of them all because I don't know what it is about Manly, even when we play them at home. Daly Cherry Evans just loves to fuck around with us when he plays us. And then every other game we'll win. I mean, basically we can win all of these games, but Manly's the hardest game. And Titans is probably the second hardest game.
So if you're going conservative, are you going to pick us to go 4-1 from the last 5 games?
Yeah, I'm not going to go conservative. I'm going to go Sostradamus and go 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I like it. I have a feeling that myself and Buddha may have gone for a similar running of the table because we have gone through and done the NRL ladder predictor. Buddha, this is what's come up for your results, bro. You've come up with us remaining in 3rd spot on 40 points. So, I don't know. Does that mean that we go 4-1 from this point onwards? Is that? Or 5?
That should be 5.
5-0. Okay.
Yeah, we're on 30 now with the bye. So, yeah.
And you're
12 wins, 17 wins for the season. I mean, we just have we have to win those next 5, obviously. Want to. But you couldn't ask for a better run home to really cement your spot. The only criticism, and people are starting to talk about this, is that you're not playing like hard teams at the back end of the season to get your kind of finals footy fit. But like, who cares? Let's just get in there. Eh? Let's get in there. And if, realistically, we just have to have a top 4 just to give ourselves, every opportunity to compete. But just for the effort of the season. I think we talked about it a wee while ago. Imagine, finishing 8th. You'd be like, had such a good season. And then you finish and you have a do or die playoff. But yeah, first and foremost, let's get in the 8, and we should. The only thing I've on my one is I don't believe, I've got the Cowboys in there somewhere. I think I have. Yes, I do.
You got them in 6th.
6th.
Yeah. But I don't believe the hype,
The way
I'm just thinking that now.
Yeah. Because you got the old Sharkies in there as well. Is that a bit of residual, second favourite team from last year. Just
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they are going back at a rate of knots, aren't they?
Yeah, look at
Yeah,
that. Yeah, not looking good.
yeah. Those between 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's all to play for, eh?
Yeah, and Raiders aren't looking that flash now too. I think they're starting to, which I'm quite happy about. Sorry, Chris Gibbons. But yeah,
sorry, Tuli Whanua, and all of our Canberra Raiders fans out there. Of course, we welcome fans from all clubs onto this podcast. That's cool, Buddha. I like that, bro. That would put us in the first week against the Broncos over in Brisbane. I actually like that. I like that matchup because
I do.
I feel like we owe them, and I feel like we seem to travel better than what we do at home.
And fuck you, Greg Dyer, will beat
you. we owe you, fellas. All right, that's nice, bro. I just did my one a few minutes before the start of this podcast episode, so I haven't actually gone through and oh wow, okay, I've gone very I guess positively, I suppose. I've got us also on 40 points, but sitting in second spot, which would give us a week 1 final against the Broncos. I've obviously got us running the table there for the next 5 games, and somehow or other I've managed to pick the Panthers and Broncos to lose 2 games each. So I don't know how that happened, but anyways, we'll see what happens. It is close. I know we are going to need those top 2 teams to have a couple of stumbles. Surely they've got to have at least one in there somewhere. They've got a few tricky sort of games coming up as well. Anyways, Storm dropped down to 5th. Okay, interesting. Bunnies, that's quite a high rating for the Bunnies. I guess Trell's back and they've got the ability to carve teams up. I've got the Cowboys in there, the Raiders, and the Knights slipping in there. Past the Eels. The Raiders are such a puzzling team for how they've managed to do so well with such a poor for and against. But there you have it. Anyways, of course, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves as we just did. Big game this week, Friday night against the Gold Coast Titans. Another team that we really owe one after the past couple of years. Haven't had some good results against them at all. Isaac, what are you wanting to see from our boys when we go over to the Goldie?
Jeez, I don't know. Just more of the same, I guess. I mean, rinse, wash, repeat, play mechanically against the Titans team. Maybe not just try too much. I don't think we really need to get into top gear to beat them. I'll be honest with you, but they have got some threats in that team. Fafita, Foran. I think last time they played us, did Jaden Campbell have a pretty spectacular game?
Oh, yeah, the big last 8 minutes, I remember.
Yeah, when the last thing we'd want is to, just for him to pull a jack in the box kind of a game and just surprise us. Here's one thing. The whole thing about the last 5 games, winning all of them, I don't mind if we lose a game as long as we don't have a serious injury as well. The last thing I'd hate to see is we win all 5 games, but we suffer a serious injury to one of our key players, fucks us up for the finals. Yeah.
Yep.
So I could take being 4-1 or 3-2 if we go through unscathed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You'd rather travel and have our full squad.
Yeah.
Available.
So, losing to the Titans this week, I don't think it's going to happen, but it is, it's half a banana skin game. Yeah, it's a banana skin. Manly's the banana Sunday. This is a banana skin game.
Delicious. Now, Buddha, I guess part of the good run and the timing of things is that ideally we might have a couple more guys coming back this week. One being Marata Nukore, who missed the last game, and a guy called Jazz Tevanga. Are they... Actually, what are we thinking on Jazz? Are they going to bring him straight into the first grade team, or the last time they brought him back, they used him through New South Wales Cup? Buddha, what are you thinking for Jazzy?
Yeah, I guess Yeah, hard to say. He might need a run in Cup as well, just to. It's been a while. It's an extended period of time. It was the Melbourne Storm game, right? So, what's that? Right, rounds
8
early on, 8. Yeah. So it's been a decent 12, 13 weeks. So yeah, I'd say. We've got the luxury of him coming back into, play Cup because, he's the kind of last remaining. Well, Tamaiti, obviously, he's going to be out for pretty much, I think, the rest of the season by the sounds of it. Definitely the next 4 or 5 weeks. But yeah, obviously we've got Luka Mikiafu in there. But yeah, having Jazz back, so maybe through Cup he'll come back. And that's all good because we've got, we've got a solid bench as it is. But, when he's back, I'd love to see him there with Dills Walker just doing, him, Dills Walker, Isaac Sauce, getting in there. The 3 Musketeers.
I like it.
They covered
Triplets. Yes. Okay. Moneta. I guess no need to really stress how important this game is against the Titans. What do you see us throwing at them and them throwing at us?
I think we'll just kind of keep on doing the same thing we've done, right? And it's just basically just cleaning up those areas, and I think it's always been that case. So I think we'll do the same thing, just keep on executing. But I had to have a look at I didn't see the Cowboys game, and I want to have a look at it now, knowing that they beat the Titans beat them. So they can kind of see where they. I think Jaden Campbell, he's one to look out for. I remember he sliced us up last time, and so
he started on the bench today, and I think Brimson.
Yeah,
he's got a adductor tear or something like that, so he'll probably will play.
Man, that guy's always injured, Brimson.
Yeah, I know, just thinking that.
Yeah,
he scored a killer try. They scored a great try, actually. They actually shifted real early, and Cam Pereira just got pace out the outside, chipped over the top, and Brimo scored. But so I think that's this thing that scares me. They've got they can just cut you up from anywhere.
Yeah.
But they are wicked soft, like you can just fucking get them down and ground and pound, baby.
You can come back from 24 points down and beat them, and they're that sort of team.
Yeah. I think what we're better at than the Cowboys is our D. We're still ranked in the top 3 in regards to our defense, so we may pose more of a threat. And even I thought against the Canberra Raiders, I thought our D was fantastic until the last 1 minute. Things started to go awry. So we were dominating, I thought, the Raiders throughout that game. It's a tight match, but I think, we're slightly different from the Cowboys with our D. But, again, they've got some really good individuals. And, it makes me kind of nervous just hearing this, how they beat the Cowboys. But that's the way it should be, right? So
you're sucking yourself out.
it can't be a Warriors game without a bit of nerves. So that's what I like.
They just got those sorts of players that could just decide to have an all-out stunner of a game, like Fafita. I remember Philip Sami. I remember when he played against us and he sidestepped RTS like he wasn't even there. In one game. It's just like silly things like that. Those are the sorts of games in my mind against the Titans and the sorts of plays that make me worry. Whether it's strike from like 20, from their own 20.
I think Tino might still be out.
He's still suspended.
Yeah. He's a good player. Jesus, I'm glad he's not back then.
Well, not next week.
Yeah,
but,
that helps. Yeah,
it helps a lot. Yeah.
There's a good, interesting looking lineup of games. So we play 6 o'clock Friday. And then at 8 o'clock, that's New Zealand time, that'll be 8 p.m. That's 6 p.m. Australian Eastern. Immediately after that is the Panthers Storm. That'll be an interesting game. And then the first game up on Saturday afternoon is Cowboys Broncos. So between those 3 games, there's going to be some interesting it'll give it a little bit of an idea as to how that top 4 is going to play out. But obviously, we keep our eyes on the prize and we go straight at the Titans and give them what they deserve. Also, I think there's going to be a massive Warriors crowd there on Friday night.
Yeah.
There are events galore going on. sold out events before and after the game.
Oh, nice.
Warrior Nation are amongst it all. The Warriors are throwing stuff as well. I think there's going to be some fair chanting going on over at
yes.
Stadium. So, it could be a not so much of a home advantage for the Titans as per usual. So that's something to be excited about. But we better jump on out of here as well as we get ready for this big game on Friday. It's actually coming around. It's going to come around pretty quickly, I reckon.
Yeah.
Which is good because we had a long week there.
We're hanging in there.
Please do.
Yeah, we had a long week hanging out doing nothing. Let's bounce. My name is Jared Cronin on behalf of Moneta Sauce, Isaac Sostradamus, Daniel Whatakura. This has been Warriors Anonymous. As always, up the wires.
Up the wires.
Go the Warriors.
Go the Warriors.